birria. Birria is a Mexican soup made with chuck roast, and I have here a 3.5 pound chuck roast. I'm also going to use some short ribs because we want the bone and the connective tissue and the fat to kind of get in there. We're going to cook this for 4 hours, not long enough to make bone broth, but long enough to get some of the benefits of having the bones. I'm going to be using about 8 cups of liquid, 2 of which are beef broth that we made. I just think we can get a little more flavor and get some depth with that bone broth into this dish. It's going to be great. I have a variety of chilies. These are the last of our guajillos that we brought back from Hatch, New Mexico. They're in, kind of sad shape, but I've got about 8 of these, or 7, I guess. We'd like to have 8 whole, really good chilies, but yeah, to make up for it, I've got 1 Hatch spicy chili, a couple of Arbols. These are Moritas, or dried chipotle, and these are Pasillas, and 2 Anchos. So that'll, I think, give us enough chilies in this thing. 1 onion, 1 head of garlic, 1 large carrot. I'm going to use some cumin, some chili powder, Mexican oregano, salt. And in this, I have a cup of hominy. This is dried hominy that I soaked overnight, and I rinsed it, and I'm soaking it a little bit more, so when I go to put it in the pot, it will have soaked plenty. And a 1/2 cup of rice. These things are not going to be traditionally in birria, but a local Mexican restaurant serves their, when they serve it with their birria tacos, quesadilla tacos, they have these other things in there, and it really is good. So I'm gonna use that in this recipe. So I have to get all the seeds out of these chilies and get everything ready to go. I got to cut the onion up, get the garlic, carrot ready to go. So we'll come back when I've done all my prep work. All right, so I've got everything ready. I'm using an 8-quart pot for now. It's kind of typical for me to start with a container that's too small and have to switch to a bigger one later. So that may happen, we'll find out. I cut my roast up into just smaller pieces just for handling purposes. I've got my short ribs. I cut my onion into just big chunks. And the garlic, I just cut the top off and I'm leaving the thing whole. I'll squeeze the garlic out of it later. In go the carrots. And I took the seeds out of my peppers and I left them in pretty big chunks so I can fish them out again here soon. The Moritas, you don't have to take the seeds out of, you just leave them. They don't even have stems. And the Arbols, I just take the stems off and leave the rest of the chili whole. And to this, we're going to go in with 1 teaspoon of cumin, 2 teaspoons, probably 1.5 teaspoons actually, of chili powder. This will help give us some color to the broth too, just like the chilies will. And 1 teaspoon of Mexican oregano. Kind of heaping. And 1 teaspoon of salt. So it's gonna all fit in one pan this time.
Some of those things will cook down a little.
Won't have to change to the bigger pan. So we're gonna cook this for 45 minutes or so, and then we're gonna take everything out of this except the meat and put it in the blender and then put it back in. So, to my 2 cups of beef broth, I've added 6 cups of water, so I have 8 cups of liquid here to pour into this. Some of the beef broth isn't thawed yet, but it will be soon. All right, now, I don't think that that was enough. Since it's not covering, I'm gonna add more water. So I'm gonna go in with another 2 cups of water. And that looks much better. And then we just go on the stove. And get it boiling. Okay, so that's that. All right, this has been bubbling along here for 45 minutes.
You want to turn the timer off?
Well, yeah.
There you go.
And so now
Uh-oh. Chilies are getting me.
we are going to take all the vegetables and fruits out of this and put them in our blender. Now you could cook all this other stuff separately and blend it up and then add it to the pot, but I think there's a lot of benefit to having all these flavors cooked in here. You can see that the water in here has changed color quite a bit already, and so I think I got everything. I'm going to take a scoop of this water to help this all blend. Maybe even 2 scoops. Okay. Oh, I gotta.
These will come back to do that.
I can get this going. That's going to be a little bit hot to handle right at the moment. Not that this won't. Here it goes. One of the things on our to-do list when we got back from Hawaii was to buy a better blender, and we didn't do it yet.
No. I'm still thinking about it.
The real trick here is that we really want to get all those chili skins blended up so that they're not chunks floating around in our stew here. But it looks like it's going really well. So now I'm going to just squeeze this garlic.
Sure. Oh, it's working.
Oh yeah,
It's just hot.
it's just hot. And I don't really, I guess I could have used a towel. Yeah, it's really hot. Let me get in it. Oh, it's hot. Okay. Yeah, so this will work better. Okay. That gets the garlic. So one more time. And then we just go right back into the pot with this. Look at all that flavor. Okay, that'll be something. So now I'm going to set the timer for 75 minutes and let this cook for a while, and then we'll add our hominy and rice. We're looking for about 4 hours of cooking for this meat. There you go. Okay, the timer went off. This is just sitting here cooking. I missed a couple of things in the blender, but that'll be all right. We're going to add hominy. And a little extra water isn't going to hurt anything here at this point. And we're going to add this half cup of rice. It's really not very much, but it's just going to give us a little something in the soup when we go to put it in the bowls, because the soup doesn't have any vegetables or anything in it. It's just soup. So there you have it. We're going to let this cook for another 2 hours before we take the meat out. All right, we've cooked our meat for 4 hours. And now we're going to take it out of the pot. And this, you know, this could be a little tricky, but oh man, the This is going to be good. So we are using this. We're making 2 different things here. Tonight we're going to have this as a soup, and then tomorrow we're going to make Birria tacos. So for the soup we're going to cut the meat into chunks, but for the tacos we're going to shred the meat. So, and we're not going to put the meat back in the pot. We're going to, you know, put some meat in a bowl and then add the soup to it.
That's good when that's a good sign when the meat's falling off the bone.
Yep. And the short ribs have all that gristly stuff on them, and oh, this is just really gonna be.
That's a heck of a lot of meat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to call a neighbor boy over to come help eat it.
And there's a short rib. Well, we're having company for the tacos. Sure I get all these rib bones out of there. There we go.
Oh.
Gotcha. Okay. So now, so now I'm going to add the corn to this, and we're just gonna keep this soup hot until it's time to serve it up, and we'll get to cutting the meat up. All right, so you know, we cut the beef into you know, chunks to put in the soup, and we added some diced onion, and then we come over here and we scoop up, hopefully, some of our soup. Ooh, nice. That's going to be nice plating there.
Yeah, you gotta let shrimp.
And, oh, doesn't that look good?
Yeah, that's enough. You're full.
Okay. So then we have some cilantro with which to garnish this. Just chop it up nice. Look at that. It's a beauty. And then
Plating is important.
I'm going to wipe the plate. Which is how the finest chefs do it. And there you have Birria as a soup. And I'm going to taste it. A little piece of hominy there. Oh yeah, that's really good.
How's the spicy rating?
It's a mild spice. It's a little bit spicy, but it's not even going to be too spicy for you. All right, so there you have beef birria. Thanks for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen, and we'll see you next time. Subscribe to our channel, and then we'll make sure we see you next time.